Hey there, adventurers, and welcome back to another episode of the Awkward Dungeon Master. This week, I want to talk to you guys about Leomund's tiny hut. So, Lehmans Hunt is a spell. It creates a magical protective dome that is a 10-foot radius sphere, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's on page 255 of the player's handbook if you guys want to look it up. And I could just kind of peruse over that. But early on in my DMing career, I found this spell to be very frustrating because from my vantage point, it created a scenario where my players could endlessly take 8-hour-long rests without interruption. Even if there was something bad outside of the dome, they would see it and it couldn't get to them. Now, with time and experience, I've seen that there are ways around this. I don't advise doing it constantly because that can be frustrating to your players as well, and you don't want to discourage them from having things that are utilitarian. If you're constantly finding ways around everything that they've gotten to kind of protect themselves or utilize in ways that are helpful to them, they're not going to have a motivation to have anything utilitarian in their arsenal anymore. They're going to become purely a combative party. So, don't always find ways to work around what your players have set up to protect themselves. For the most part, that spell protects your party. It does have some weaknesses. You could have bad guys burrow in from beneath the dome, so they could start digging on the outside and they could come up on the inside of the dome, because it does specifically say a dome, not a sphere. So below the earth, there's nothing protecting your party. So something could burrow underneath, like a purple worm, for example. This could pop up right in the middle of their Leomund's tiny hut and swallow them whole, theoretically, while they're sleeping, if they didn't set a watch. Again, I am not advising that you turn into a killer DM, because that is definitely not a good way to go. So, Leomund's tiny hut is vulnerable from underneath the ground, since it is just a dome. Likewise, my husband pointed out recently, intelligent bad guys could take the time that you guys are sleeping to build a wall the height of Leomund's tiny hut, or just a bit higher, all the way around, and then fill it with some kind of material that's going to hurt you guys, like acid or magma, something along those lines. So, burning pitch, anything that's going to be harmful to you in liquid form. They could fill up that space with something corrosive, and then when Leomund's tiny hut dissolves or the spell ends, all of that fluid is going to fall on top of you. So, no bueno. Leomund's tiny hut. Definitely take the spell if you're a player. It's horrendously useful, in my opinion. I took it for my bard in our Friday game that we played at a friend's house, and I highly suggest that you take it as well. But DMs, don't forget, it is not invulnerable. There is always a way to work around things if you want something story-driven to happen. So, keep all those things in mind. And until next time, keep it rolling, adventurers.